My friends, I've got a harrowing tale for you. I just escaped the clutches of a liberal. Yes, yours truly. Welcome to Real Truth. I'm Howard Riell. You know, I've been telling you a long time, liberals are hypocrites. Here it is. In the last half an hour, I approached a magazine editor. I write for magazines. Liberal magazine, lots of diverse views. They got articles about Palestinians and what have you. So I pitched an article idea about Wayne Allen Root, former guest here on Real Truth, millionaire conservative politician, friend of Donald Trump, author of right-wing books. The editor absolutely bristled at the idea and rejected it instantly. When I asked if the magazine was in favor of diversity or only certain types of diversity, the editor got nasty and snotty and insulting. You know, liberals say they want diversity. That's why they're in favor of blacks, just not the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas kind of black. They're all for women, but not a woman like Ivanka Trump or Ann Coulter. They want Donald Trump investigated for alleged Russian collusion, but not Hillary Clinton. They want bipartisan cooperation in Congress, but only when they're the minority party. They insist on government transparency, but when Barack Obama was running the least transparent White House in memory, they were mum. They had nothing to say. They're in favor of immigrants as long as they're Muslims and not Christians. They want freedom of speech, but only speech that agrees with them, which brings us full circle back to this liberal magazine. If you go to Alex Jones's InfoWars, their slogan is, "There's a war on for your mind." My friends, I'm here to tell you that is so very true, and it's a warning. If you're dealing with people who are of a liberal bent, be prepared to be lied to be discriminated against, to be pushed aside. These are people who don't care about truth, don't really care about fairness, although they'll tell you they do. These are the people who are the true racists. They say they're against racism, but they're all for affirmative action, which is simply reverse racism. I go on and on and on about hypocrites and liberals being hypocrites, and today I got a dose of it. I still have the taste of it in my mouth, and I'm here to tell you, it tastes lousy. If you're going to stand for diversity, stand for diversity. All the time, all kinds of diversity, not just the kinds that you particularly like. Because how is that different than the kind of diversity they used to have down south in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, where there was diversity of drinking fountains and diverse kinds of restrooms and diverse kinds of lunch counters? Discrimination of any kind is wrong. It's unpalatable, and liberals are guilty of it almost every time out of the box. It's Thursday. Real Truth. Stick around.
Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the person or thing to be seized. The associates that you no one anywhere is more noble, righteous, courageous than a United States Congress. These brave men and women and their families with the bill for our freedom every day, and the military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and their thoughts. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart supermarket. They're on the air as they get. If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Paris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Paris Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Paris Survival.
Let me start with a question, my friends. Let me start with a question. Basic question. Are you the parent of a daughter? If you are, stop what you're doing, put down whatever is in your hands, and listen to this. This comes from the Rebel Media, Faith Goldie reporting. Here we go. Do you get that, my friends? She was more responsible than he for what he did. Now, we're talking about liberals today, right? That's what I started the show with. Liberals always side with the criminal against the victim. Right? Right. She's victimized by the Syrian punk. They get the 14-year-old girl separate from the mother. And they ask this girl, what should be done? Should this boy have a criminal record? What does a 14-year-old know? And then they suggest to the 14-year-old she was really to blame. I've talked to you about school administrators around the country. They are uniformly liberal, uniformly stupid, and here it is in real life. Let's listen to some more of this video. You see, my friends, this again, once again, liberal hypocrisy. Everybody's due equal treatment. Oh, but not you, because you're not a minority. Not you, because you're not an immigrant. So you get treated like you're less than the immigrant. That's liberalism. That is liberalism 101, and that's why it's like rat poison. We got a minute left. Let's listen to some more. All right, my friends, look for this video online. I'll post it to my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. But let me ask you a question. If you have a young daughter, is it okay with you if some migrant kid from the Middle East jams his hand into her pants in her underwear? What, you mean it's not okay? Well, you must be a racist. That's liberal thought. That's the liberal view of the world. Meanwhile, rest assured that if one of these Syrian punks did that to a liberal's daughter, they would scream bloody murder. All right, we'll take a break and we'll be back with more Real Truth.
Now this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and for posterity, ordain and establish this Constitution, the United States of America. Piccolo's Restaurant and Denver reminds us that over 750,000 trips reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were affected by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's Restaurant and Denver is not only just his house, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Thank them for doing a great job. Shop and break the back. Realize their job is sometimes bad. Call 352-2233. Come on the air because they care. And I printed uniform people in green.
right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Donald Trump, a lackey, a pawn of Vladimir Putin. So the question is this. If the Russians were trying to influence America and American elections going back years, how come he never said anything? Well, Rush Limbaugh's got the answers because Obama, if he ever really thought it, thought that Hillary was going to win the election. Here's El Rushbo. My friends, you've heard the liberals, the left, the Democrats, you've heard them screaming about the Hillary Clinton cover-up, haven't you? Haven't you? I haven't either. Ah, so Debbie Wasserman Schultz, known to be a liar, now says that Jay Johnson is a liar. So do we believe her? Or do we simply accept the fact that Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a typical Democrat politician? You've heard of honor among thieves, right? Thieves are honorable people, loyal to each other until it becomes inconvenient, and then they will put a knife in each other. Same with the Democrat thieves. And so my question, my friends, is why is Hillary Clinton not being indicted? Why is she not in a jail cell? It's a good question, right? It's also a tragic question. So you see, because of politics, which means because of ambition and power and money, if the Democrats knew the Russians were up to no good, they're okay with that. They were going to be quiet. And if it compromises America's national security, well, that's okay with the Democrats because it puts money in their pockets and power in their hands. You get the venal nature of the Democrats? My friends, Rush Limbaugh had those two questions. They're very good questions. I got a third question. Why would anyone with at least half a brain ever consider voting for a Democrat ever again? We'll be back.
R&R Supply Incorporated in Fort Collins reminds us, every day our troops demonstrate their dedication to our nation. Now is the time for us to return the favor. Hire our returning veterans, as well as those who have served in the past. After investing their life in our nation, serve our investment there. This message is from R&R Supply Incorporated in Fort Collins, and they're on the air, reminding all of us that our freedom has never been free.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of peace for ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution. Elizabeth Lockerman and Elizabeth reminds us that the drug problem is well done. We know our kids will be approached at early age. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had no drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth Lockerman, located at 366 Grand Street in Elizabeth, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized HB and pork and complete custom process. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240. If catastrophe struck, will your family be prepared? Are you confident you won't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Bear Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Bear Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Bear Survival. The associates at your 24-hour super center Lafayette. No one anywhere is more noble, righteous, selfless, and courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families put the bill for our freedom every day. The military care package takes to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart Super Center on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care.
My friends, the theme of the day seems to be liberal hypocrisy. You know that election a couple days ago in Georgia? It was the most important referendum in American history. I mean, that's what liberals were saying when they thought they were going to win. Once they lost, of course, their opinion was, that doesn't mean much. Here's Mark Levin. My friends, he's right. The government hasn't changed. I'm confident, I'm hoping that Donald Trump will change it, but the entire Congress, the right and the left, and the press, and the courts are arrayed against him. Item from AOL.com. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi may have never set foot in Georgia's 6th congressional district during the special election on Tuesday, but some Democrats wonder if her reputation there cost them in a winnable race. Following Democrat John Ossoff's loss in the race, many Democrats have worried that their opportunity to ride Trump's historic unpopularity to a wave election cycle in 2018 could be squandered by Republicans' effective ability to link any Democrat candidate with the unpopular Pelosi, unquote. My friends, Pelosi is a crazed hag. Thank God she's on their side, not ours. We'll be right back.
I'm here with the DuPont Pioneer team. So tell us, what are you bringing to the table to help producers manage feed costs?
Feed management is always on a producer's mind.
It sure is. So we take a whole operation approach to help us maximize feed value.
By combining the right products with our expertise and services, we can help producers improve profitability.
It's big picture thinking for big time production. So work with your DuPont Pioneer team to get the most out of every bite. Pioneer, with you from the word go.
He was in the world was made through him, but people did not know him. He came to his own, and his own did not receive. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 10 through 13. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America's News Network.
Thank them for doing a great job. Shop and with the family. Realize their job is dangerous. Sometimes they call 352-33. They're on the air because they care. Uniform code in Cooley.
All right, my friends, we're back. Real Truth is back. I think I have a caller on the line. Caller, are you there? Do we indeed?
Many people will question whether I'm all there, but as far as I know, I'm here.
My friends, it sounds like my consigliere. Consigliere, how you doing today?
I am still on the right side of the grass, and as far as I know, all is well. I am happy to be alive. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm okay. You know, you and I spoke before I went on the air, and I told all my friends here in Radio Land and in YouTube Land about my experience with a liberal hypocrite editor today who is all in favor of diversity, but it's got to be his kind of diversity. Otherwise, it's no good. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, I'm a firm believer in calling things as I see them, and what I see on both sides of the aisle is called hypocrisy, but I think that we see enormously disingenuous sentiments from the so-called left, from the so-called liberals, who often wish to deny the fundamental reality that they have prejudices and biases that are every bit the same and every bit as strong as those seen on the right. And for example, we see this when a given speaker is not allowed to speak.
But you know,
and,
go ahead.
You know, to say that it's suppression repression or whatever of the so-called First Amendment, which doesn't exist anymore anyway in this country, but to say that if the right-wingers stifle the left-wingers, that's bad, but if the left-wingers stifle the right-wingers, somehow or other that's justifiable.
Well, hang on one second. Hang on 1 second. I watch Fox News. I know you don't, but I do. And the things that make me angry on Fox News, they always have a liberal commentator right next to the conservative one. So they're busy putting out both points of view. So don't say that the hypocrisy is equally on the right. The Fox News network on the right puts out both points of view. You will never, ever see that on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, it just doesn't exist on the left.
Excuse me, Howard. Which network just hired Megyn Kelly, late of Fox News?
What does that have to do with conservative? She's no conservative.
Well, I'm sorry, Howard, but to my standards, she's an arch-conservative.
Well, that's your standards.
Megyn Kelly. You have no use for Megyn Kelly, so let's concede that the two of us coming from opposite sides of the political spectrum both have no use for Megyn Kelly.
Correct.
By the way, I heard you earlier inveighing against Nancy Pelosi.
Sweet
from
girl.
the right.
Nice
From
girl.
the
Sweet
left,
girl.
let me assure you that whatever you say, I happen to feel at least twice as vehemently that you understated the case against Nancy Pelosi. I think she's been a disaster. I really enjoyed listening to an account of the tweet by our president today, because he effectively said, gee, let's hope the Democrats don't turn all their fire on Nancy Pelosi, because if they get rid of her, it's going to be a lot harder for the Republican Party.
You know,
it's been a disaster.
I respect the liberals because they went after Donald Trump. When Donald Trump was Secretary of State and he sold 20% of America's plutonium to Russia, that was certainly suspicious, and I respect the liberals for calling Secretary of State Donald Trump out on that.
Would you care to rephrase what you just said?
Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. I didn't mean then Secretary of State Donald Trump. I meant then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, but I don't remember them calling for an investigation into Hillary Clinton. Did they, or was I asleep that day?
Well, the fact of the matter is they sort of investigated Hillary. They sort of investigated Trump. Nobody really wants to do anything to anybody. And you may rest assured if they ever did get an indictment against Hillary, Trump would pardon her.
You think so?
It's part of, oh yeah, I think it's all part of the hypocrisy. Howard, you're the one who keeps drawing the analogies to professional wrestling.
It all comes back to pro wrestling.
Being up here between Democrats and Republicans is a work.
Well, that may have been true until Donald Trump became president, but he's not in on it. He's never had any involvement with pro wrestling.
Who has never had any involvement?
I mean, okay, he shaved Vince McMahon's head, but he's not part of this wrestling-like work that you referenced.
Yeah, Howard. He's been on this WrestleMania. He's been on Monday Night Raw. He was the general manager of Raw. He blackmailed and took a whole lot of money from Vince McMahon, presumably. We all know that was a work. And by the way, guess who hired Linda McMahon for a little job in Washington? You remember?
Linda McMahon has done a great job, and she is... Donald Trump may have been in wrestling, but he's not in politics like he's in wrestling. He's doing a real righteous job. We got less than a minute. Go ahead.
He's doing a real right job. But anyway, but I agree with you about Nancy Pelosi, and I also feel that there's a great deal of hypocrisy on the left, even as I see it on the right. And we can discuss more of that if you've got a break coming up, or we can move on to another topic.
Well, we got less than a minute until we hit a commercial. You will agree, though, that Nancy Pelosi, very much like Hillary Clinton and the Maxine Waters, is a hag from hell. You would agree with that, right?
Let's leave Maxine out of this, but I'll I'll grant you Hillary, and would you mind for my third if I threw in Debbie Wasserman Schultz?
Are you on the Maxine Waters train?
No, I'm just asking you if we could get Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
There's always room for a liar like Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Always.
All right, as long as you can get rid of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, then I suppose you can be redeemed.
Well, I'm irredeemable. I'm deplorable and I'm irredeemable. Don't forget that.
Well, no. You are redeemable. I agree you're deplorable, but you've proven to me by getting rid of Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton, you can definitely be redeemed. I have great faith in you.
I shall be redeemed. Consigliere, thanks very much for calling into the show. I appreciate it.
Maybe chosen for greater things.
All right, we're going to take a break, my friends, and we'll wrap the week up right here on Real Truth. Go nowhere.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirit, whether they are God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming, and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10. Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 kids were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters that play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver. It's not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo. You look at the locker plan and remind us that the drug problem is well done. We know our kids will be approached at early teens. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who had no script. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. As from Elizabeth Locker Plant, located at 366 Grand Street in Northern, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized AD and force and complete custom process. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240.
All right, guys, let's finish the week with this brand new column from Ann Coulter. I quote, after a Bernie Sanders supporter tried to commit mass murder last week, the second homicidal Bernie supporter so far this year, the media blamed President Trump for lowering the bar on heated political rhetoric by calling his campaign opponents cruel names like Crooked Hillary and Lion Ted. As soon as any conservative responds to Trump's belittling names for his rivals by erupting in a murderous rage, that will be a fantastically good point. But until then, it's idiotic. Unlike liberals, conservatives aren't easily incited to violence by words. What we're seeing is the following. Prominent liberals repeatedly tell us with deadly seriousness that Trump and his supporters are, quote, Hitler, fascists, bigots, haters, racists, terrorists, criminals, white supremacists, unquote, which is then followed by liberals physically attacking conservatives. To talk about both sides being guilty of provocative rhetoric is like talking about both genders being guilty of rape. Nearly every op-ed writer at the New York Times has compared Trump to Hitler. The conservative on the op-ed page merely called him a proto-fascist. If Trump is Hitler and his supporters are Nazis, then the rational course of action for any civilized person is to kill them. That's not just a theory, it's the result. A few months ago, 38-year-old Justin Barkley shot and killed a UPS driver in a Walmart parking lot in Ithaca, New York, then ran over his body because he thought he was killing Donald Trump. During his arraignment, Barkley told the judge, quote, "I shot and killed Donald Trump purposely, intentionally, and very proudly," unquote. In the past year, there have been at least 100 physical attacks on Trump supporters or presumed Trump supporters. The mainstream media have ignored them all. School children across the country are being hospitalized from beatings for the crimes of liking Trump. In Pasco, Oregon, a 29-year-old Trump supporter was stabbed in the throat by a Hispanic man, Alvaro Campos Hernandez, after a political argument. Last month, the anti-jihad scholar Robert Spencer was poisoned in Iceland by a social justice warrior pretending to be a fan, sending Spencer to the hospital. It's become so normal for leftist thugs to assault anyone who likes Trump that in Meriden, Connecticut, Wilson Echevarria and Anthony Hobdy leaped out of their car and started punching and hitting a man holding a Trump sign, rolling him into traffic right in front of a policeman. If any one of these bloody attacks had been committed by a Trump supporter against a Muslim, a gay, a Mexican, a woman, or a Democrat, the media would have had to drop its Russia conspiracy theory to give us 24/7 coverage of the epidemic of right-wing violence. The liberal response to the ceaseless mayhem toward conservatives is to produce a single nut who fired a gun at the Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria in Washington, D.C. last December, hurting no one, to, quote, rescue children after reading an obscure right-wing blog that the restaurant hid a Democratic pedophilia ring. Congratulations, liberals, you got one. And some tiny number of girls raped men last year, QED. Both sexes have a rape problem. Liberal aggression has ratcheted up dramatically since the dawn of Trump, as has the dehumanizing rhetoric. But epic violence from the left is nothing new. We don't have to go back more than a century to note that every presidential assassin and attempted presidential assassin who had a political motive was a leftist, a socialist, a communist, or a member of a hippie commune. Unquote. My friends, we're out of time. I'll be back on Monday with more Real Truth, my friends. In the meantime, go to AnnCoulter.com, go to Real Truth Radio on Facebook, go to personalprofit.blogspot.com, and then, hang on one second, .wordpress.com, I'm sorry, personalprofit.wordpress.com, and I will be back on Monday with more Real Truth. I think we're out of time, aren't we, Cody? I think we are. I will see you on Monday, my friends. Hasta lumbago.